At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too. Because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.
All right. Do we have it now? Do we have audio now? We do. Good morning. Hey, how's everybody doing this morning? I'm obviously not starting the day with my audio on, but now it's on, so everything should be okay. My goodness. It seems like sometimes if it's not one thing, it's another, but hey, we'll get through it. It's hot. It's just hot. I think my brain begins to melt a little bit, and it doesn't function as well as it should in normal temperatures. So that's my excuse for not having audio to start off here. But at least I've had my coffee. It's good cup of coffee. It's warm. Although, you know, people say they like to have the iced coffee when it's hot outside. But I guess the irony of that is that coffee dehydrates you and doesn't help you in a hot situation. So if you're looking for something to refresh you and help you during this heat, it's not going to be a cold cup of coffee. It's going to be best for you is going to be water or something with electrolytes. All right, enough of that. How's everybody doing out there this morning? Hey, let's get you to the forecast here. And we're going to start off with, first of all, the beach hazard statement that's been issued for the coast. Someone made a comment. You can see all the areas in blue there. Okay, yes, as you start heading into those inland areas, okay, don't worry about that. It's along the beach. That's essentially what this is illustrating here. It's along the coast where you've got the issues. All right, so I know there's a lot of smart Alecs out there. Oh, it's not going to impact those. I know. We all know that. You're all smart Alecs, but some of you can be. But this is what the coast beach hazard statement is. It's mainly those sneaker waves. You know how many times like you go out to the ocean and just out of nowhere you get this big rush of water? Well, that's what a sneaker wave is. These sneaker waves are the most dangerous. You're rock hopping right there on the beach. You're right there on the coast on the beach there as well, and a rush of water can come in and sweep you out under your feet. It can drag you into the ocean, and it can be a very dangerous situation. That's why it's very important for you to never turn your back to the ocean during these beach hazard statements, and keep a very close eye on those kiddos as well. Temperatures in the low to mid 70s. You can see up to about 79. It's almost 80 degrees this morning in Redding. So can you tell it's going to be hot out there? Absolutely, right? 74 degrees out in Oroville. We're mainly in the 50s and even some 60s for the higher elevations. Although Chester graced with that 49 degrees this morning. That's nice. Good for you. All right, 53 degrees out in Crescent City, 53 for Eureka, and Redway about 58 degrees right now. And look at the actual visibility. We're actually seeing some fog out there in some areas here. I'm going to show you what it looks like in Elk Country. This is just north of Trinidad. And I'm going to show you another camera that is out in Crescent City. And there you can see Crescent City. This is the Crescent City Harbor District Cam. And look at that. I mean, some pretty low visibility out there. So if you do need to be on a small boat, you're out there fishing, just know that you're going to get out there and it's going to be pretty difficult to see what you got to see out there. All right, let's get out of this and take you to those visibilities. And there they are. All right, so again, they're fairly low along the coast, but that should probably improve later on in the afternoon. So when you look at what we're seeing out the door this morning at about 8 a.m., yes, the overcast skies for many of us along the coast with temperatures low 50s. But elsewhere, sunny skies. Temperatures upper 70s for most of the valley. I mean, we're already close to 80 degrees in Redding. So I think even by 8 a.m., Redding could be up to about 80. Otherwise, I think the rest of the valley, for the most part, in the upper 70s. And then we're in the low 60s for many of the higher elevations, but those temperatures will also be increasing. Now, the winds, yeah, they're also contributing a little bit to those warmer temperatures, but they're not terrible. We've certainly seen worse conditions. But you can see they're going to be still pretty gusty here and off and on through the morning hours, and maybe even a little breezy going into the afternoon. And then we take a look at the winds going into tonight. Still from the north and still a little breezy even tomorrow morning, late tonight that is. Now look at the fire weather risk. I mean, we're still within that high fire danger because of not only the heat, but the winds a little bit, and not to mention the humidity, probably down into the single digits, the humidity levels. Now, I think the peak of the fire danger will be around midday today. As the winds subside a little bit here, you can see it gets a little bit better, but still high fire danger even through the afternoon. Look at the big arc in the clouds there. That's the ridge of high pressure. That's the heat. That's the heat that's moving on in. So we look at Futurecast, and you can see that you can see a little bit of shower activity, maybe even a little bit of thunderstorm activity off towards the north and east of Lassen County, and not to mention Modoc County, seeing some of that activity. And of course, it dies down later tonight. I'm expecting for the Southern Cascades, Northern Sierra, in particular to the east in Modoc, Lassen counties, I think we'll be looking at the very least, afternoon cumulus clouds developing, but off and on chances for showers each day through the afternoon, really in the late afternoon, early evening hours through Saturday. But for the most part, you'll be dry. There's the heat, the excessive heat warning through Thursday. That's something we've been talking about the last several days, even since last week, really. And the National Weather Service heat risk has us in the major category. Now, this is the first time we're in the major category. And there you can see it affects anyone, including healthy people. If you don't hydrate yourself properly, this heat can impact you. All right, so drink plenty of water, and if you can, stay in a nice air-conditioned, cool place. So those of you that have to work outside today, if you thought yesterday was hot, it's going to be even hotter today. So it's very important that you drink at least a cup of water every 20 minutes. Now that may sound crazy, especially if you're out working. How can you stop every 20 minutes? But it's important that you do that, especially if you're in direct sunlight. Even if you aren't thirsty, drink a beverage too if you can with electrolytes. Take regular breaks to rest. During hot conditions, skipping breaks is just not safe. And if you can, get in the AC. So maybe get in your car on your job site, turn on the AC for a little bit. It can help cool you off a little bit, and spend some time in the shade when you're outdoors. If you can work in the shade, great. If not, sometimes it's difficult to do. Depends on the work site, right? Temperature 105 to 106 for those daytime highs for most of us in the valley today. Temperatures 80s, even some 90s for the higher elevations. Weaverville 100. I think Hayfork, you could possibly see some upper 90s to about 100 degrees as well, and low to mid 60s for the coast. Here's a look at your 7-day outlook real quickly here, and you can see those temperatures are going to peak today, tomorrow for the valley. Now, even though temperatures are quote-unquote dropping, well, they are. There's no quote-unquote about it. They are dropping, but it's still going to be hot, upper 90s to about 100 degrees, and then about 104 to 105 here Monday and Tuesday. For the coast, we're in the mid-60s, and for the inland areas, yeah, we're dropping down to the mid-upper 80s over the weekend, back to the low 90s by early next week. And Weaverville, 100 degrees or higher for today, tomorrow, and Friday. Low to mid-90s over the weekend, back to the upper 90s by Monday, Tuesday. And for Siskiyou, Modoc, and Eastern Mountains. So for Modoc County, the Eastern Mountains, again, that chance for showers in the late afternoon, early evening hours for today through Saturday. Otherwise, partly cloudy skies in the afternoon, but sunny for the first half of the day. Temperatures dropping over the weekend and then going back up into early next week. Hey, let's take a look at some of those cameras out there today. And oh yeah, looks nice out at Lake Oroville, kind of that glass lake. Looks like glass, nice reflection, very nice. Main Street, Chico, Highway 32. We've got the sunny skies out there. Doesn't look like the trees are blowing too much in the wind. Highway 99 at Neal Road. Traffic is flowing smoothly, but look at that. Look at how much fuel we have out there. When we're talking about the high fire danger, that's all just dead grass, folks. That'll light up and spark quickly. That's why we need to be careful during these heat waves in particular. Sundial Bridge Drive at or on Highway 44 at Sundial Bridge Drive. And you can see, of course, we got the sunny skies there as well. Want to remind you, free Weather NorCal app. Download it today if you haven't done so already. Search for Weather NorCal and download it for free today. You can also download the app for your Roku and Fire Stick for free. So also search for Weather NorCal. And if you don't have Roku or Fire Stick, say an Apple TV or a smart TV in general, as long as you have internet access and the YouTube app on your TV, you can watch Weather NorCal from there as well. All right, let's see what's going on out there for everybody. Jim Carr saying, yoo-hoo, leaving for pickleball now, getting my exercise in early. That's probably a good idea, but keep in mind, it's already up to 80 degrees. Good morning from Pam. What a lovely morning. It is. It's always a lovely morning, always nice, right? To wake up in the morning and be alive and be grateful for the things we have in life. But then, of course, we got to walk out that door and get hit by that heat wave, right? Ronald, you say you never wrote me to connect with me doing some promotions for Weather NorCal. Actually, I did. I think I instant messaged you. But I guess I'll have to try that again. If not, Ronald, you can instant message me as well on Facebook, and we can connect. And you're also asking, do you think Reading will break records this year? Of course. I think every year we're going to break a record, right? The all-time record high for Reading, and people argue that it's not, but the official. Listen, folks, I go off of the official. Okay, I go off the official high. I don't go off of what your grandma's, thermometer said in 1972. Okay, I go off of the official records. So, the all-time high in Reading is 118 degrees officially. It may have been hotter than some areas. Yes, I get it. But the all-time official high is 118 degrees. Could we break that this year? Sure, why not? It can always happen, right? We're seeing an early heat wave so far, and we get another heat wave next week, but I don't think we're going to break any major records when we're talking about the heat wave for next week. Keep in mind, we typically see our first 100-degree temperature in May. That's usually pretty normal. So that's not unusual. So for us to see this heat wave here in June, also not terribly unusual. I did check. I don't think we broke any records for most of us through at least yesterday's heat that we saw. But overall, it's hot. So if you have to be outside, just take all those necessary precautions. J.M. Carr again, heading out to pickleball. It's interesting. I'm a tennis guy. I've always been a tennis guy. But it seems like pickleball is really taking off. And I've noticed here over the last several years that a lot of the public tennis courts have some of the, they spray painted the markings that you need for pickleball. So I find it kind of interesting that this has kind of really taken off. I'm not quite sure if pickleball has the same cardiovascular exercise that you can get out of tennis. I know tennis you can run around a lot more than pickleball, but I played pickleball once, and it was fun, but I really do enjoy tennis a little bit more. But pickleball is fun, and I know it's a big sport. A lot of people love it, so good for you for getting out there and enjoying the cooler weather this morning while it lasts, because, yeah, that's going to change. All right, let's get to the forecast here. And your Coffee with Krueger that you're watching here is made possible by Wind River Resort and Casino. At Wind River Resort and Casino, enjoy friendly service, a wide variety of specials and promotions, plus all of your favorite slots and table games. Let's get you out the door this morning, and you can see it's warm. It is warm out there. I'm actually kind of warm right now. I thought I turned on the AC. The problem is with my smart thermostat is it's too smart. I turned the AC up, or turned it down this morning, so it'll cool us out this morning, but then it kind of kicks back into smart mode and says, no, we're going to keep it at like 85. So I got to do something about that. But so right now it's pretty warm in here, and I'm trying to stay cool as much as I can. But temperatures mid to upper 70s, low 70s for Willows right now, 73 degrees for Chico, 74 for Oroville, 61 in Susanville, 53 degrees for Alturas, and those low 50s out along the coast. So the heat wave peaks today and tomorrow for the valley. It's peaking elsewhere, like in the mountains, today, tomorrow, and even into Friday, before we do see a dip in the temperatures over the weekend. Fire danger is increasing as well today and tomorrow, but isolated showers and thunderstorms for some of the higher elevations. We'll take a closer look at Futurecast in just a second. And there's that slight temperature drop going into the weekend. It's still hot this weekend, folks. It's just not going to be 105, 106, but it'll be like upper 90s to about 100 degrees for the valley. The wind's not that bad right now. They're a little breezy in some spots here for the valley, and that'll continue into the noon hour. By the afternoon, they kind of break down a little bit in some areas here, but still breezy conditions. You'll notice as we go into Thursday, it's still a little breezy Thursday morning. Thursday afternoon, the winds, again, 10, 15 miles per hour. Nothing major, not a huge issue, but still some gusty winds along the coast out of the north. We're shifting those winds, looks like more from the south. On Friday, last I checked, yes, it is. And you can see a little breezy south wind coming in. But still north winds for the coast and still some breezy, gusty winds here for the eastern mountains from the west. So humidity levels, that's the next thing that we look at. The winds, yeah, not a major wind event. That's good news. But the humidity, that's pretty bad, right? We're down to the single digits and teens. We take you into Thursday, we're down to the single digits for almost everyone in the valley. And we take you into Friday, even though we do have typically with south winds that can tend to pick up the humidity a little bit more and not to mention cool us off. Unfortunately, that south wind, one of the key reasons why we'll see the humidity increase and why we see the temperatures drop is because it will typically have a marine influence. If there's a nice marine layer along the coast, then that can kind of come in. But there's really not much of a marine layer, so as a result, it doesn't get as dry. I mean, it doesn't get more humid, and it doesn't cool off as much either. So there you can see your fire weather risk for today. By midday, it's already pretty high. It's pretty much stays that way, but it does subside a little bit here later on this afternoon. But then I expect even higher fire danger for your Thursday. You see how we're getting into those really deep oranges, so it's getting into that high to even very high category, and it looks like as we go into Friday, looks like even more widespread of that high to very high category. So yes, even though the winds aren't a major factor right now, yes, it's a little breezy out there, but no major winds. It's still very dry and it's still very hot. And as a result, that really does increase that fire risk. So there you can see the ridge of high pressure. That is responsible for the heat that we're seeing out there right now. But the main dome of heat is actually down to our south and east. That's where the hottest temperatures are. We are kind of in the outer fringes of that dome of heat, but still hot nonetheless. Now, what's going to happen is, you see this right here? This is moving up to the north and riding over that ridge. It's suppressing the heat and pushing that heat down to the south. But hold on, because even though we do see a dip in the temperatures over the weekend, we've got another ridge of high pressure coming in from the Pacific. Now, this one, what you'll notice, yes, we have this nice little arc in the jet stream here. That's the ridge, but it's not very prominent. It's not very strong. And what's going to happen is it's going to increase. We're going to see temperatures increase for Monday and Tuesday. But as we go into Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, you see this storm system right here? It's going to do a couple of things. Number one, it's going to kind of push eastward. As it does that, it will essentially kind of push all of this heat down to the south, because look at this. The ridge of high pressure impacting us now is going to try to reemerge by the middle of next week. So we've got this broad ridge of high pressure right here, but we're not seeing a ridge of high pressure doing this. If we saw a ridge of high pressure doing this, it would be a lot, trust me, a lot hotter. Okay, but as this cooler air rises to the north, what it does is it suppresses. It takes a prominent ridge and it basically just flattens it out, squashes it, and as a result, our temperatures are not as hot as they would be, but still hot. But bottom line, we look at this here. You can see the main bubble of heat is going to be to our east. So we're seeing less and less of the 105 and 106 that we're seeing today, and as a result, not as hot as it could be. So we still have the excessive heat warning in effect through Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening. Now we look at the National Weather Service heat risk. We're in the major category today. What that means is, even if you're healthy, if you're strong and healthy, and you're out there running, doing all kinds of stuff, but you're not hydrating yourself, you will be impacted by this heat. Doesn't matter how healthy you are, so you've got to make sure that you stay hydrated and have a way to stay cool. All right, we go into Thursday, same situation. We are going to be looking at a continued major heat risk for your Thursday. By Friday, we're more in the moderate, and that means it's going to impact less people, especially the elderly and young, and not to mention your pets. You got to keep an eye on them. So if we go into the weekend, notice what's happening. We're still within the orange, but we're starting to see more and more yellow, which means minor to moderate. So conditions are improving for Saturday, They're improving even for Sunday. We see a lot of the yellows on the map here, but look what happens as we go into Monday of next week. We're getting back into that major category as we go into your Monday. There it is. Okay, so temperatures dropping, still hot though, and then increasing again for early next week. And we saw that in that jet stream pattern here. So friendly reminder, okay? We talked about, if you work outdoors, but just overall for anyone that's going to be out and about today, remember that most heat-related deaths occur outside of heat waves. So you can bet it's even worse during heat waves. Avoid overexertion and stay hydrated. Heat stroke can occur even during moderate heat. Never leave anybody or your pets in the car, even when it's only 80 degrees outside, but even more so as we deal with this heat wave. And bottom line, just keep an eye on the elderly, infants, young children. Keep an eye on them because they are more susceptible to these heat waves than the younger, healthier people. All right. Let's take a look at your temperature trend. So you can see it's peaking for the valley today and tomorrow, but you see that dip in the temperatures? We're in the upper 90s on Saturday, and then there you can see by Monday, Tuesday again, it's going back up again. The normal high, by the way, for the valley, upper 80s. So yeah, we're well above that. But same trend for the mountains. I just put Mount Shasta in here, but really it looks like more of the mountains and inland areas. It's peaking around Thursday, Friday, and then we see that dip Saturday, Sunday, going back up for Monday, Tuesday. But this is always nice to look at, isn't it? If you live on the coast, good for you. Good for you during these heat waves because yes, mid-60s on average for the next 7 days. I'm sure you're just loving it. All right, take a look at Futurecast. We'll take you into the afternoon today. Watch right here. The thunderstorms popping up in Lassen and even southeastern Plumas County. Southeastern Modoc County. Now that's mainly late afternoon, early evening. Then it's gone. Now we're seeing a little bit of fog developing again along the coast tomorrow morning. Thursday afternoon, same area. Chances for showers and thunderstorms for tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. Friday morning, maybe a little bit of fog along the coast. Once again, look at that, more showers and thunderstorms off into the eastern mountains. So again, that's why I've got that chance in there, at least through Saturday it looks like. So the wave heights for today, yeah, they're actually fairly high. And then we go into Thursday, they retreat a little bit here, but still fairly high. So what does that mean? Well, it means we've got a hazardous seas warning for today, and that continues through tomorrow afternoon. North winds at about 10 to 15 knots. And as a result, too, there is a beach hazard statement. So what does that mean? Well, what that means along the coast, okay, along the coast, if you're going to be on the beaches, you need to keep a close eye on that because the water may look fine, everything may look fine, and then suddenly a big sweep of a big wave will kind of push through unexpectedly. Those are the most dangerous because if you're rock hopping and everything seems okay, that rush of water can come up. Water is a force to be reckoned with, my friends, and that can hit you fast, sweep you out of your feet, and then you're on those sharp rocks that you fall. That's very dangerous, right? But then can also sweep you off into the ocean, even if you're just along the coast, not rock hopping, just on the sandy beach right there along the beach. That can sweep you up under your feet. So just be careful today and tomorrow, and really make sure that you watch those kiddos. All right, take a look at your Trinity County neighborhood forecast for today. Those temperatures along the Highway 299 corridor, man, maybe a dip in the, well, I wouldn't say that. I'm not going to say that because it's very dangerous. Those waters right now still very, very cold. You got to be careful. It's tempting to get in those waters, but hypothermia is a real thing even during this heat. So just be careful, but it'll be tempting. But there you can see temperatures mid to upper 90s, even around 100 degrees for some of the warmer spots in Trinity County. 97 for a high today in Hayfork. Temperature around 101 Thursday, 99 Friday. There's that dip in the temperatures over the weekend before going back up next week. Southern Humboldt County. There you can see temperatures mid to upper 80s, although along the coast around Shelter Cove, about 74 degrees. There you can see Fortuna, about 66, 64 degrees in Ferndale, and Rio Dell, about 66 degrees. 63 degrees out of McKinleyville, 91 for Hoopa, 93 for Willow Creek and Eureka, about 64 degrees. 61 for Crescent City, 78 degrees for Gas Key, and there you can see Oric, about 67 degrees. How about your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast? Well, not quite 100, but it's getting close. I mean, we're talking upper 90s on Friday for Wairika, back in the upper 80s over the weekend. For Scott Valley, looks like mid to upper 80s, maybe even Callahan getting up to 90 degrees today. Temperatures in the mid 90s by Friday, mid to upper 80s over the weekend, low 90s by early next week. And for central, eastern Siskiyou County, for a high of 91 for Mount Shasta City, 94 in Dunsmuir and McLeod, 85 for Tule Lake, and there's Tennant with a high of about 84 degrees. Now, for Modoc County, there it is. Chance for isolated showers off and on. Basically, for Modoc County, and especially, I would say in this area here, so places like California Pines, Alturas, Fort Bidwell, Cedarville, likely, I think all of these areas have the best chances for an late afternoon, early evening shower or thunderstorm for today, tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday. Same situation for the Eastern Mountains, but I would say that the best chances for thunderstorms are going to be places like Bernie, Old Station, Hat Creek, Fall River Mills, Bieber, all seeing that chance for an afternoon shower or thunderstorm through Saturday as well. Now, we take you out towards Lake Almanor, Lassen Park. Also, I would say that chance for Wednesday through Saturday. Then we take you into the Eastern Mountains southward. What we're seeing here is, yeah, Paradise, not necessarily the case, but I would say Susanville, Janesville, Doyle. These areas right here. As you head to the south, I would say the chances are going to be a bit slimmer over the next several days, but you kind of get the idea. There's your 7-day outlook. Let's take a look at your Valley Neighborhood Forecast brought to you by NorCal Tractor. Take a deep breath. Take it all in. Be prepared for it as you're heading out the day today. Water. Make sure you got that water handy. Water bottles are nice. They're your friend this time of the year especially, right? Wear loose, loose-fitting clothes if you can. This right here, no thanks. If you're an attorney, you got to go to court today. Will they allow you to wear a Hawaiian shirt? Probably not, but this is not a comfortable situation here when you have to walk out in that heat. Temperatures are dropping, though, over the weekend, but still hot. 105 for a high today in the city of Shasta Lake, 106 for Redding, 100 in Lakehead, Cottonwood, 105 degrees. Let's take a look at that 7-day outlook for Redding. I mean, it pretty much just speaks for itself. I could just sit here and show you the maps and go, oh, okay, it's going to be hot. I mean, how many ways can I say it's going to be hot? Scorcher, right? You can get as creative as you want. But the peak is today, tomorrow. There's that drop. I mean, honestly, if we don't drop below 100 degrees here, that could be the case, but I'm being a little optimistic here with 98 degrees on Saturday, 100 on Sunday, 104 Monday, 105 Tuesday. The good news is we're not going to see that trend continue upward going into Wednesday, Thursday of next week. In fact, if anything, it may actually drop. So just that little spike coming into Monday, Tuesday of next week. Right? I'm hot. I'm hot just thinking about it. And again, my smart thermostat's playing games with me, and it goes back. It turns off the AC when I turn it on. They're not so smart, are they? AI, it's not where it needs to be. Let's see here. Does anybody... Ronald saying, I remember one year in January, it was like 90 degrees in my Atlanta. Oh, maybe you meant to say in Atlanta or something like that. I don't know. Now, sometimes that torrential rain and cold. But hey, I will send you a message. Great. Got the new swamp cooler pump running. All right. Good to hear, Krista. Hopefully the swamp cooler will be effective enough for you. I know that once the temperature, I used to do this, and maybe I'll have to make a map. And you kind of reminded me to maybe write a note to myself. I like that. The effectiveness of swamp coolers during the heat and humidity and all that kind of stuff. That's kind of a cool map that I used to make. I'll have to make another one like that. But swamp coolers can only work to a certain level as far as like how hot it gets. Once it reaches a certain temperature, sometimes swamp coolers don't work effectively, and it also depends on the humidity. Obviously, it's got to be dry in order for swamp coolers to work effectively. But as you start getting into the 110s, even close to 110, swamp coolers can tend to not be as effective as they should be, or as you'd like them to be. But yeah, that reminds me, I'll have to kind of do that. But good to hear. I'm glad you got that, especially. I mean, it was hot yesterday, but it's going to be even hotter here for today. I was out taking Nessie out for a walk yesterday. It doesn't matter how hot it is. She just, right at about 5 o'clock in the evening, she's like, take me out now. And I mean, I could be on the couch. I could be doing anything on the computer or just watching TV. And she gets in my face. She's like, take me for a walk. Darn it, take me out now. So my father-in-law takes her out early in the morning when it's nice and cool so she can get out. So she gets out twice a day. Sometimes I can't take her out in the afternoon or evening because I'm too busy with stuff, but it was hot yesterday, even just taking her out to the river. And of course, she was in the river the whole time. And it was getting hot. So a lot of people kind of come out of the woodwork, and I started seeing more and more people in the river, keeping cool themselves. For me, it's still a little too cold. And I'd say it's probably cold for probably most people, so it's dangerous. So just be careful and don't get swept up in that water, because there are some spots in the Sacramento River that can be dangerous. But what do you do? What do you all do to stay cool out there? Fun and creative ways to stay cool, to keep the kids cool. You know, these hot days, especially as you start getting into the summer and the kids are out of school, you got to figure out ways to keep the kids busy. And usually the best thing to do is outside, but during these heat waves, you got to keep them safe, right? Chris is saying, someday when we hit the lottery, we'll get mini splits. Yeah, right. That's really what it comes down to. I feel you. I feel you on that one. Catherine Schmidt saying, as a kid, my dad bought a block of ice and put it in the swamp cooler. That's interesting. I wonder where you could put that safely without really damaging anything, though. That's interesting, though. It's not a bad idea. It really is neat. It's a neat concept with swamp coolers. Because I touched on this yesterday about how evaporation is a cooling process. I remember when I first learned that, I was learning about what's called latent heat. So when you have water vapor, which is the gaseous state of water, so you have these molecules. And water, when you see steam, you have these little droplets of water. And so what happens is there's heat within those droplets of water. And then what happens is when that droplet of water evaporates, that latent heat within that water molecule droplet, that latent heat, it's released. And as a result, because that latent heat is released, it's able to go away. And we, as a result, start to kind of cool off. Now, no, wait. Hold on. Scratch that. So when the water, when the water evaporates, don't scratch that. I was right. I went back and I doubted myself and I went back. So we're good. We're fine. So that latent heat, once it's released, you cool off. Kind of interesting. And so what happens is when the water, that you have those pads on your swamp cooler that are wet, you have a pump or a hose that kind of continually keeps those pads wet. You have then air, you push through that air. Number one, that helps that water to evaporate. But number two, that evaporating air, or the air with evaporation, the air pushes that cooler air into your house. Kind of a cool concept and really kind of a cool invention. All right, I'm rambling. But there you go, folks. That's going to do it for us. That's your forecast. Let's take another look at that 7-day forecast before we go. Isn't that just nice? Not really. I'm just kidding. It's not nice. I don't like it. Well, let's leave you with the 7-day forecast. We'll also leave you with a blank screen. No. We'll leave you with some cameras as well. And we're going to leave you with now Lake Oroville and a few other cameras to get you through the rest of the morning. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow morning on Coffee with Krueger bright and early at 7 a.m. Have a great day and stay cool, stay safe. Remember, drink lots of water today and keep a close eye on friends and family that may be more susceptible to this heat than you are. Have a great day.